Mr. Scott, let me explain our process to you. First, I'm going to read some information into the record, and then the board will conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we'll allow the participants who've indicated they wish to speak to have their input. Currently, today, we have someone speaking in opposition. At the end, you'll be allowed to make a brief statement before the board votes. Do you understand our process, sir?
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. Just moved into my new place, and I'm gonna be pumping out a lot of videos, some new content, and this is one of them. I might start doing these parole hearings and parole revocation hearings. I want to see what you guys think about them. Anyway. One more thing, I'm going to start putting these only on Patreon, at least for the first couple days, if not only on Patreon, these parole and hearings. If you want to become a member, patreon.com/realtruecrimeking. If not, that's okay. Just keep watching regular videos that I put out on YouTube. Anyway, here we go. This guy forced himself. He SA'd his own daughter, and she's going to be speaking. So this should be a good one. I haven't seen it yet. Here we go.
This is the matter of John Scott, DOC number 124438, date of birth March 7th, 1953. He has a parole eligibility date of August the 1st of 2021. He's not eligible for good time. He has a full term date of August the 3rd of 2039. He is currently serving a 40-year sentence on the charge of aggravated incest after having been adjudicated a habitual offender. That sentence was pronounced on May 14th of 2019.
Aggravated incest. And apparently he was just, convicted of that in 2019. And he's already at the parole board. I think that is ridiculous.
Scott, is that basically correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Scott, your case has been assigned to Mr. Pete Freeman. Mr. Freeman will be the first one on the panel to begin the interview process. Would you please answer any questions he may have?
All right.
Okay, Mr. Scott, how old are you presently?
69,
Okay, and how many years have you served on this charge?
23.
Okay. Scott, tell me a little bit about what happened that day. I mean, what went on? What was going on in your mind?
Well, there was just a lot of frustration, anger, and I basically did what the victim said I did, but I didn't complete the rape job.
You mean you stopped, but you didn't start?
No,
Okay.
well, I attempted, but I never had sex with her. I never raped her.
Okay. Did you bring some clothes with you to change and had a blanket in the woods waiting for this victim? You didn't bring.
Real quick, these guys, they already know the answer to their questions. Okay, they have all the court transcripts. They have all the police, reports. They have all the victim statements. They know the answers to these questions before they ask these guys. They just want to see if they're going to be telling the truth, and see if they're truly remorseful, and try and gauge whether they're rehabilitated or not. They have to feel comfortable letting this child molester, his own daughter, back into society somehow. Which, in my own opinion, I think he should never be allowed out, ever. That's just my. If you do something like this, it's just
Ain't no clothes with you to change into after the race.
No, I had some clothes with me, but then I was going out of town to do a job in Sweetport. We was building a circuit city over there on Burt Coon.
It's premeditated. He knows what he's
Okay.
doing.
Well, tell me about your other daughter. Did you ever rape your other daughter?
Which one?
Which one? Oh my God. This makes my blood boil. It should make everybody's blood boil.
The daughter that you thought was pregnant.
No, sir.
Well, what happened there? I mean, she's just lying and saying that you didn't try to do her lesson.
Well, all that's basically tied in. I really don't want to talk down on my family no more. You know, the damage that already been done, and I mean, if she said I did it, then basically if that's the only way I could go ahead on and redeem myself, okay, yeah, I did.
I mean, I don't want you just to try to redeem yourself. I want to know what was going through your mind and why did you think you had to do these things to young girls?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't care to talk down on them because there was a lot going on at that time, and I basically was trying to stop it and got.
Talk down on him. I mean, you raped your daughters. You fucking clown. They didn't do anything wrong at all. Like, there's nothing to talk down on them about. You're the cowardly clown that's in jail.
I caught up.
I mean, what was going on at that time?
Oh, well, I hate to go through all this. Well,
Yeah, you hate to go through all this. Oh, you just have to answer the questions of what you did, you know? How about your daughters? I'm pretty sure they hated going through that. These guys are such cowards. Look at.
Well, it all started back when one Sunday I was sitting on the train track. I was disgusted because of the things that was going on at my apartment. And when the mother go to work, I would always stay gone because the girls was always trying to cross me out because of the things that they were doing, and I was trying to stop it. So I met this little girl on the train track that Sunday, and she asked me what was to do in my hometown, and I told her basically nothing. So I thought about it. Well, look, she might be a good influence on my daughter, so I carried her home with me. And a couple of days later, when I came from work, the mama told me, said, "You remember that girl you brought home?" I said, "Yes." She said, "My daughter had jumped on and beat up." I said, "For what?" So when she told me, I didn't think nothing else about it. So a few nights later, I was walking over into the hills of Grambling subdivision, and I took a shortcut across the baseball field. And I come back the same way. And I heard a bunch of voices off in one of the dugouts. And I stopped to peep in to take a look, see what was happening. So it was about 5 or 6 dudes in this dugout with this little girl. And I couldn't see who it was because the light only shined so far down because it was a dugout. They stayed down off in the hole.
And I want you guys to keep in mind, these guys on these parole hearings are going to lie and say whatever and try and mitigate their actions. You know, they're up for parole. You know, they're going to try and get off and try and do exactly what he's doing.
And I could see basically from here down, but I couldn't see the face up. So I didn't know who it was. So she would pick one at a time and walk down to the football stadium with them and come back, take a nut and go around and come back. And when they come back the last time, they saw me and she said, "I know you." I said, "I know you too." She said, "I'm gonna call the police, tell them you tried to rape me." So she called the lady, and the lady that came was a young lady that I was at school with named Doris Haskell. And she told the officer that I tried to rape her. And she asked me, was it true? And I said, no, I said, let's go up to the town hall and make her tell the truth. So we went to the police station and she had the girl in the back to talk to, and she scared her some kind of way, and the little girl told her what happened and told her that she had lied on me. And that basically turned out to be the little girl that I found on the train track that I took home. And come to find out, my daughter jumped on her and beat her up because of a 28-year-old boy that was called my daughter that was in the dugout with her. And 3 or 4 more guys. I didn't know who he was. I didn't see the face. She was the one that told her who it was. I didn't know. So that's how everything.
That really had nothing to do with the race of the bus.
It didn't, but that was the influencer part. I mean, this little girl was the one that planted that seed. I never raped my daughter.
Yeah, you claiming you're innocent. All right, let's move on.
So he's been convicted. Okay, he served 23 years, and he's still trying to claim he didn't do what he was convicted of, right? The parole board, they just want to hear that you're remorseful and what kind of classes you've taken while you've been in jail to rehabilitate yourself. This guy already failed on telling the truth and being remorseful.
How many children do you have?
All together?
Yeah.
I've been told 17.
Been told 17.
He's been told. He doesn't even know how many children he has. I mean, that statement right there just should show everybody he doesn't care about his children. He doesn't even know how many there are, let alone all their names, if he doesn't even know how many he has. And he can rape them, you know?
Yes.
Do you have any contact with any of these kids?
Yes.
Which ones do you have contact with?
Johnette, my baby daughter by my wife, and my oldest daughter by my wife.
He shouldn't have contact with any children.
And there's no use for me to ask, what would you say to the victim? Because you claim there was no victim.
What do you say?
And you claim there was no victim. He was
On
saying,
this one?
there's no need for him to ask you, what would you say to the victims? Because you're saying you didn't do it.
Well, I apologize for my action. I take full responsibility for everything, you know, but I plead guilty just to go here and just keep from talking down on my family.
Well, but what are you apologizing for if you say you didn't do anything? What?
I'll take the charge, because I done did the time.
Who would just take a
You have
charge?
very
A
strong law enforcement opposition. The DA says that you already got a reduced sentence in a plea bargain. And all others are opposed. Your family, Keisha Scott, she's not opposed, but everybody else is opposed. Tell me about these 2 escape charges. What was that about?
Escape charges?
In Rapides and in Lincoln.
Yeah, and the board, I'm sure, is not going to take too kindly to trying to escape from prison twice.
Okay, the one in it.
Innocent people don't try to escape from prison, right? That's just my opinion. Let me know if you think innocent people will try and escape from prison. You know, just add more time. I mean, you're not gonna get away, right? You're gonna get caught.
Lincoln. It basically happened behind a young girl that I was in love with, and I did it because she told me to do it, and
You did
I got it. So,
And real quick, I just want to remind you guys, if you want to see more of these parole hearings, and if you like them, hit the like button, and remember, go to Patreon, Real True Crime King, patreon.com/Real True Crime King. That's where I'm going to be putting these up first, if not only.
Told you to escape?
Yes. No, I escaped by myself. She told me to do it, and I did. And I was caught in January of '80, and I was changed from January to August. And there was a minister that lived next door to my grandfather that was working out there as a guard. And the toy truck blew up on him one day, and that hot toy shot all 350 degree toy, and it burned all the skin off. And when he come back from the hospital, they made him the jailer down to the courthouse. So he still had to come out there where we was at to get the food for the inmates up in the jail. And he told me he was gonna get me down there to be trustee. And I made trustee even after the escape.
Oh, okay. All right, what was the aggravated battery charge in Lincoln Parish about? I see it was on, but what was it about?
On a police officer?
Yeah.
Okay. The young lady that I had the 3 girls by, Cat on, she was courting the girl brother that I had 9 kids by, and he had tried to run over me 3 different times with my children in the car with him. And if I hadn't heard them screaming and hollering, I would have known he was finna run over me, and I jumped out of the way. And when I jumped up trying to catch him, I never could catch him because he was in a car and I was walking. So one day I passed by her apartment, and the kids was outside playing, and they called me and told me the mama said, come here. So when I went inside to talk to her, she asked me would I come fish Thanksgiving dinner for them because she was sick. And I said, yeah. So when I got ready to leave, this guy came through the red light, and he saw I had a 204 across my shoulder, and he stopped when he saw the 204, and he went on the seat of his car. And when I ran across the road, he hit him with 204. The police jumped out and ran up there and stuck his hand between them. And as I was coming down 204, it hit the police on the thumb and say, I don't know whether it broke it or what. But the judge told me, said the only reason why he wasn't going to give me 5 years was because the police officer said that I was hit at someone else.
Okay, what have you learned from the classes you've taken since you've been in prison?
Ooh. And this is what I was talking about. They want to hear that you've been taking classes and what you've learned, right? So he's been in prison over 20 years. Like, for example, if he hasn't taken any classes to try and get better, what have you been doing, right? But let's see what he's got.
It's been so long since I finished that anger management.
Yeah, you should be doing as many classes as you can, especially on an incest charge. You know what I mean? And he's saying, it's been so long. What do you mean, man? You should be doing them every day, you know, or something.
Well, it was a nice subject, and I wished I could remember all of it. Every time I got shook down, I lost paperwork, and I couldn't keep up with it to keep it in my head.
Yeah, he
only
lost the
maybe 3 or 4
paperwork.
that I
That's
can remember.
ridiculous.
What the sex class, what you learned from that?
From who?
Sex offender class, sex offender treatment.
Well, I learned a lot from it, but basically I can't remember it because they threw away all my books.
So he can't remember. He said he learned a lot from it, but he can't remember because he lost the paperwork. So does that make any sense to anybody? If you can't remember what you learned, what are you gonna carry around a piece of paper to remind you everywhere you go if you're released, right?
Paperwork. But the 27 risk factors, I liked them, but I can't remember 2 of them. That's blame and denial. The rest of them will come to me as I think about them.
Oh, yeah.
Just off the top, I can't.
So if I'm released, I'll just try and remember.
Medium, you've had 12 write-ups. Last one was in 4/11 of 14. Warden, what could you tell me about Mr. Scott?
Not a whole lot. He hasn't been here. He's only been here with us for a couple of months. He hasn't been any problems from us. I do feel that he does need additional sex offender treatment since he really can't remember. It didn't really sink in whatever he took. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, Warden.
Thank you. We'll now hear from the opposition.
Good morning.
Good morning. Would you please tell us what you'd like us to know, please?
Yes, sir. To the board, first, I just want to say a huge thank you for allowing me this opportunity, as many survivors often lose their voice. I speak today with the hopes of you hearing me, as doing this often feels like re-victimization. You asked why my father, John Henry Scott, should or should not be released from prison on parole.
Okay, so real quick, this is the daughter. I'm assuming it's the daughter that he abused.
Here are a few reasons he should not be released, but know that this list could go on and on. I understand that laws and policies change, but natural life in prison should be just that. I have to live with this every day. More specifically, I told you in my last letter how this affects me, but here it is up to date. On Mother's Day, May the 8th, 2022 was the worst day I could have as a mother. Instead of celebrating motherhood, I was triggered because this was the day that I was raped by my father. On June the 2nd of 2022, I had another surgery to help my soon-to-be born baby, Mr. Scott's grandchild, come into this world safely. These stitches, also known as the cerclage, will not be removed until I'm about 37 weeks. This is all due to the trauma and scarring my father caused to my cervix. I have now had a total of 3 surgeries due to his raping me. Man said that I wouldn't be able to have children, and as complex as it sounds, God saw differently. He not only blessed me with 1, not 2, but soon to be 3 children. Would you like for this to be your daughters, granddaughters, or wives, etc.? I believe that if he did it to me and my sister, he would do it to others. What life does he know outside of prison walls? Do you want to protect our communities and our state? On July the 2nd, 2022, I was triggered by my own reflection because all I saw was my father, Mr. Scott. I am his splitting image. I was triggered knowing that this day would come. Do you want this for our communities? Of course, your loved ones may not be related to him, but victims face self-esteem issues, suicidal ideations, PTSD, and so much more. And even if you place restraining orders on him, he will tread up to the fine line because he's very clever. For example, if you say not to go within 100 feet, he will stalk and watch at 99 feet. In fact, the days when authorities were looking for him,
She means 101 feet, right?
he was watching everything from the loft and so much more. What I'm saying is a criminal often knows how to work around the laws. They know how to attack in ways that victims don't leave marks, bites, and bruises, which is our God-given natural defenses. That was me. I couldn't scream due to socks being stuffed in my mouth. I was tied so that I couldn't fight back. And let's not forget that Mr. Scott's smartness to cut every hair and eyebrows off of his body. That was his efforts to leave no evidence. That was all planned. A father who rapes his 14-year-old daughter, then contemplates kidnapping her would do the same to yours. Again, I ask you, do you want this to be your loved one? Lastly, if you are concerned about his age, that means nothing to me. My father was older then and he knew right from wrong. Doesn't the same apply? No matter how old I get, rape has affected every aspect of my life, from self-esteem to parenting, to trusting, intimacy, childbearing, and being able to trust the courts and law enforcement to certain degrees. I ask you, do you want this to be your loved one? I believe you get the picture. Just keep our families, our communities, and our state safe by keeping my father, John Henry Scott, in prison. God bless you.
All right, so real quick, a couple takeaways. Yeah, so yeah, she made a good point. If he would do this to his own flesh and blood, then he'd do it to anybody, right? Really not much more to say. it's obviously it's gonna affect this this poor lady for her whole life, and like I said at the beginning, this guy should never be released from prison. It's just my opinion, and I hope it's your opinion as well. Hit the like button if you agree. You think he should be in prison for the rest of his life.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate the courage it took to be here to take the talk with us. Thank you. Mr. Scott, anything you'd like to say?
And real quick, notice nobody came to support this guy. It was only opposition. Usually, I've been watching these and doing some other videos that are going to be coming out on Patreon soon, but most of the time there's support that talks and then opposition that talks. In this case, nobody talked in support for this monster. And good.
Say before the board votes?
I understand.
Is there anything you wish to say to the board before we vote? Would you like to make a statement to us, or would you like to say anything at all to us?
Last. No.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman?
First off, I want to thank that victim for speaking. I know it takes a lot of courage.
Real quick, what do you guys think? You think they're gonna give him parole, or no?
And we really appreciate it. You know, Mr. Scott, you're in total denial, even though all the evidence points out to the fact that you did rape your daughter.
Yeah, these
I
guys
just
aren't
can't-
stupid.
I can't see giving you a chance right now until you can admit your own demon.
Yeah.
And let yourself become to grips with what you did. But at this point, I'm going to vote to deny you for it.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, you don't need papers with you to have learned something. It should be in you, not on some paper. You have no insight whatsoever as to what you did, how horrible it was, how much you damaged the victims in this case. We talked about the theme that you remember with denial, and that was the other thing you said. But you're doing both of those things. You just haven't learned anything. And so perhaps you need to repeat all things as a second treatment, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work. Because you convince yourself, lie to yourself about what happened, and I don't know if there's anything that's going to change that. But because of a strong opposition from the victim as well as law enforcement, my vote today is likewise to deny.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mr. Scott, my vote likewise is the same for all the same reasons. I do hope that you repeat sex offender treatment. Think about what it is you did. You pretty much admitted the crime of rape. You say you didn't complete it, but you really need to understand the significance of what you did. I hope that you can get some deep understanding of what you did and what you did to your daughter. Good luck to you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought that would happen, and I'm glad he's not getting out. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what's going to be coming up. What's going to be I'm going to be posting on Patreon these kind of parole hearings. Yeah, once again, patreon.com/realtruecrimeking. And good to be back. And until next time, guys, True Crime King.